Now to Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass. Hi, Mayor. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi.
Hi. So
Thank
what are
you
you and your police force? I know how busy you are preparing for the hours ahead. What are you expecting on that front?
Well, I just have to say that if you dial back time and go to Friday, if immigration raids had not happened here, we would not have the disorder that went on last night. I will tell you that it is peaceful now, but we do not know where and when the next raids will be. That is the concern, because people in the city have a rapid response network. If they see ICE, they go out and they protest. And so it's just a recipe for pandemonium that is completely unnecessary. Nothing was happening here. Los Angeles was peaceful before Friday. When we find out when and where the other raids are going to happen, that will determine how the police respond.
If immigration raids didn't happen here, we wouldn't have this disorder, aka if we just allowed illegal immigrants to continue to run rampant through LA, we wouldn't have any riots going on right now. There would be no disorder. So I guess the people who are being killed by illegal immigrants, the women who are being R-worded by illegal immigrants, the kids who are having horrible things done to them, none of that is disorder. The chaos, the violence, the crime that you see in the streets of Los Angeles, none of that is disorder. Everything is peaceful there. You know, when I think of LA, I think of a lot of things, and peaceful does not come to mind. Peaceful is not how I would describe Los Angeles. If anything, it's the exact opposite. If these people think that what's going on in LA is peaceful, I guess they've just never experienced true peace. But peaceful is the word of the day, or should I say the word of the week, or the word of the month for these people. You see, pride, that's supposed to be the word of the month, but I think pride has been pushed to the side because the left has a different agenda right now. Don't get me wrong. They still have their government buildings lit up like rainbows as people are setting cars on fire in the middle of the street. But their word right now is peaceful. Everything is peaceful. Everything is peaceful. They think that if they say it enough, that maybe it will be true. They think that if they just continue to say that over and over again, that everyone will just collectively not believe their eyes, and we'll just all believe people like Karen Fishmouth Bass. Let's all believe Karen Bass. Let's not believe what we're seeing with our eyes. Let's believe Karen. As she proudly talks about how people have a response team. We have a rapid response team here in Los Angeles. When the ICE raids go down, they rapidly respond. They start protesting. She's proudly saying that. She's proudly discussing how these people are breaking the law. And they're breaking the law, a lot of them, by just being here in the first place. But what I'm also noticing is that they are desperate. Not just Karen Bass and Gavin Newsom, but even the Los Angeles Police Department, the local sheriff's offices. They're all desperate to kind of separate themselves from Homeland Security, Border Patrol, and the ICE agents, and the National Guard, and everyone else that's on the ground right now. And even in the way CNN was speaking to her, they're speaking to her like, okay, what are you doing with your law enforcement and LAPD? They're separating it. It's like the Los Angeles Police Department is not working hand in hand or together with all of these other agencies in the way that they should, almost as if they're working against them. I don't know if you guys have been catching on to that, but I've been watching, news on all of these different networks, watching all of these different feeds, watching all of these press conferences and everything. And they keep trying to desperately separate themselves. And are they doing this because of politics? Are they doing this because at the end of the day, these people got to live there? Or are they just actively working against these agencies? Well, how's the LAPD going to respond if there's an ICE raid? What do you mean? You go help out ICE in whatever way they need to be helped. But they're acting like, LAPD is going to stop it. Maybe LAPD is secretly part of this rapid response team that warns people when ICE is coming. I don't know. It's just things are getting really weird on the ground out there. And I was just talking about this earlier. A lot of people thought that they were going to wake up today and the protests would be over because people were just wilding out over the weekend. That's not how this is going, ladies and gentlemen. The machine is back up and running. The same machine we saw in 2020, it's back up and running. The protests are already spreading out across America, and 700 Marines have already been deployed to Los Angeles. So that's how you know things are getting real. But also, news just broke that they're getting ready to send more National Guardsmen out there as well. It is getting crazy, folks. Let's take a look at this real quick. So we already have 2,000 National Guardsmen on the ground in Los Angeles, and now another 2,000 are being deployed. And Gavin Newsom is freaking out about it. But as he's freaking out about that, U.S. Northern Command just posted this. Marines with the 2nd Battalion, 7th Marines, who were placed in alert status over the weekend to support U.S. NORTHCOM mission, prepare to depart for the greater Los Angeles area June 9th. And it shows photos of the Marines who are getting ready to be deployed to Los Angeles. Also, they posted this: approximately 700 Marines from Marine Corps Combat Center 29, Palms, California, will seamlessly integrate with the Title 10 forces under Task Force 51, who are protecting federal personnel and federal property in the greater Los Angeles area. The Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, also posted this. Due to increased threats to federal law enforcement officers and federal buildings, approximately 700 active duty U.S. Marines from Camp Pendleton are being deployed to Los Angeles to restore order. We have an obligation to defend federal law enforcement officers, even if Gavin Newsom will not. So Gavin Newsom and Pete Hegseth and Trump, they're all taking shots at each other as chaos is breaking out in the streets. And talking about chaos in the streets, things are starting to heat up as I speak. I know I keep saying this. A lot of people thought this was going to disappear. No, things are getting extremely out of hand. This is spreading to other places. I saw that there were protests happening even in Tampa, Florida earlier today. Also, they're happening in New York as well. And in LA, they've been out on the ground all day talking about how they're going to continue showing up every single day And guess what? I believe them. I know a lot of these people don't have lives. I know a lot of these people don't have families. I know a lot of these people don't have jobs. I know a lot of these people have nothing better to do but act an ass in the street. And a lot of them are probably getting paid to do so. So things are really, really heating up. They got snipers on the rooftop on some of these buildings in LA. And I'm wondering how long before the rooftop Koreans make an appearance. Because you know that all of this built up anger and all of this craziness, they're going to have to take it out on something. They're going to take it out somewhere. They're not going to be able to get to these federal buildings in the way that they want to, because we're going to have thousands of National Guard, Marines, and everything protecting them. So guess where they're going to be going? I know things may start in front of the federal buildings early in the day, but by night they're going to be smashing into businesses, burning businesses, stealing sneakers like they did last night. I was up at 5 o'clock in the morning watching these people loot sneaker stores, because I guess that helps the illegal immigrants that are being rounded up and deported. But yeah, that's what's going to be happening. So I'm telling you right now, there's a lot of people in LA that are going to be acting crazy, but there's also a lot of people that are fed up. There's a lot of people that don't want to deal with their business being smashed in. They don't want to deal with this stuff, and some of them may take a stand. And I've already seen some counter-protesters show up. I've seen people with American flags show up. I think some of them are actually protesters themselves. But I've seen people getting beat up by crowds of people harassing people. It's getting really crazy. I believe one mother was like snatched out of her car and beaten up last night as her kids were in the back seat. So there's a lot going on, folks, and I can't stress this enough. If you live around this area, I know this may seem exciting and stuff like that, but it's not worth it. Do not go. Stay as far away as possible. And you know, after 3 or 4 days of this nonsense, you would think that some self-awareness would kick in. Like, you would think that at least eventually, as you're in downtown LA, destroying your own community, waving a Mexican flag while rioting and screaming and yelling and freaking out about the fact that people are being sent to Mexico, you would think that some self-awareness would kick in. Like, what am I doing? How stupid does this look, right? Like, we all do stupid things. And if you're a smart enough person, there's been times where you were doing something stupid and it hit you. Wait, this is dumb. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this, right? But I guess that feeling just does not creep into these people's minds. You're protesting against people being sent back to Mexico while waving around the Mexican flag, burning the American flag, talking about how proud you are of Mexico, how proud you are of your Mexican heritage, and all of these other things, while demanding that you stay somewhere else that isn't Mexico. As I explained yesterday or at the beginning of these riots, I will never understand that. At some point, some self-awareness should kick in. But I guess that's just not going to happen, and I'm not surprised by that. But I did see someone else talking about this, and I want to show you a clip really quickly. But before I do, if you guys support the channel, consider hitting that like button, drop a comment, share the video. All of that is totally free, and it goes a long way to support the channel. And if you guys are feeling generous and you would like to donate to the channel, you can do so via Cash App or Super Thanks. It is not mandatory, obviously, but it's always humbly and greatly appreciated. With that being said, though, let's go ahead and roll this clip, and then I'll be right back with more thoughts.
So let me get this straight, just so I could clarify it. You don't want to go back to Mexico. You're protesting to stay away from Mexico. But you're waving the Mexican flag and you're waving it with pride. You're waving it in the United States, the country you're trying to stay in, the country you don't want to leave. But yet you're waving the Mexican flag with pride. Okay. That seems normal to you? That seems logical? That's not stupid at all? None of that's stupid. All right. You guys are an embarrassment to the Mexican culture and to the United States culture. You guys are an embarrassment to everybody around you.
Like, you see what I'm
yourself.
saying? I don't understand
Do better.
how this doesn't click in people's heads. But I guess everyone's minds, you know, they just work in different ways, sometimes in very mysterious ways. And also you have to take into account the fact that a lot of the people out there care nothing about any of this movement. They care nothing about whatever message the people are trying to spread. They're just there for chaos. They're there to have fun. And that's why I don't take any of these clips seriously when people are all crying about people being deported, because if you look at the faces of these people out there on the ground rioting and protesting, they're all laughing, they're all smiling, they're all having a grand old time while tearing the city down. So I don't really have any sympathy for these people. And I can say that after watching what has taken place over the past couple of days, I want these people to be deported even more than before. Like 10 times more than I did before. Because when I look at the visuals coming out of LA, when I look at these cars burning and smoldering in the middle of the street, when I see people getting their heads beat in while they're trying to walk to work and they walk through one of these violent crowds, when I see all of this crazy stuff happening, it just makes me really want for these people to get the hell out of this country, because they don't respect this country and they're showing how violent they are. This is not how you get your message heard. This is not how you gain the sympathy of sane people. Yeah, you'll get a lot of deranged leftist weirdos that will come out there and go crazy with you all, but those people don't even really align with the values that most of these immigrant communities hold. You're going to have some them days, okay? You're going to have some them days come out there to support you with their weird rainbow flags and stuff. They may come out there to support you, but the reality is most of these immigrant communities do not want to deal with those people either. So most of the support and sympathy that you will gain, it will be from the people that you don't really like, from people whose values do not align with your type of family values. I know that most of these immigrant communities from various places across the world, most of them aren't really down with a lot of the woke stuff that the U.S. has going on. Sure, they want to be here. Sure, they want to get some handouts and stuff like that, but they do not agree with a lot of that woke nonsense that's going on. But that's the only support they're going to get. So we'll see how this plays out. You guys, though, let me know how you feel down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all very soon in the next one.